Hey, and welcome to this new video. Today I want to talk about my search for my own place. It's almost 1 year since I found the location where my horses are currently at, and hopefully will be for a long time. I've written down the steps and I realized that there were 10. So in this video I'm gonna share the 10 steps in which I found my own location where I could build a paddock paradise and build my dream barn and have my pony club and boarding facility. Yeah, how I got that. I'm also sharing some tips, and maybe you will be able to find your own place this year in 2025 as well through these tips. I also brought my flyer, so we'll be going into that as well. It was a very common question when I was still in the search mode, where people asked if they could have or use the same design as I did, or where I did that, or where I printed that. So I will be sharing some tips on that as well in this video. The first step is, what do you need? So you have to figure out, what am I looking for? What are the most important things that I need at that location? For me, the things that I needed was for it to be with a contract, be able to pay through invoices and not like hide it from the tax. Like in Dutch we say you either do it white or you do it black, and black is without anyone knowing, usually paying with cash. Most barns that I know work like that. Even the ones with big boarding facilities and multiple horses still have quite a few customers and ask them, can you pay in cash? That would be nicer for us. So they're kind of trying to get away from the taxes. I actually prefer to pay it legit with taxes, because then as my business I can also get those tax money back eventually. It just doesn't make any sense when you're actually doing this as a business. So that was a big need for me. I also really wanted it to be like close to where I live, of course, because I'm not living with my horses. So I had an area in my mind from city to city where I was okay with that the place was going to be in that region. I also had a price, of course, and I also had a number of horses that I at least wanted. So those were my needs, and it's important to know what you really need. So I don't think it's that important for me to have electricity, for example, because I do my electric wire for the horses with an battery. So that's fine. Of course, it would be luxurious to be able to charge your phone there or things like that, but that's not a need. So it's important to write down the things that you really need, that you can't compensate on, that is non-negotiable. Then the second step is to write down what you would like, what you want. So the first is needs, then we get to the wants. I would have liked it if there was already like a track system, or already a nice arena with like good sand in it. I would have liked some electricity. I would have liked some water facilities. I would have liked if there was already a shelter there. But those were things that weren't that important to me, as long as I was able to do the other things. A big need for me, for example, was also that I was allowed and able to do my pony club activities. So there would need to be a parking lot, which is not something you can find at the typical barn here in the area. And I need to have several parking spots for my clients to be able to get their car. Things like that. It's important to know the difference between what you need and what you want, because with the things that you need, you already know from the beginning, this is non-negotiable. And with the wants, you know, okay, would be nice, but it's okay if there's a really nice location that has all the needs, but not all the wants. And then you can create them or be okay with them not being there. And then with those needs and some of the wants, you can create a flyer. So I got a whole stack here with me. And I don't even remember how much I printed, but I'm pretty sure it was hundreds, if not like 1,000, which sounds crazy a lot right now. But here they are. So I want to discuss them with you. Of course, they're in Dutch, so I'll be translating what it says in the video as well. I'll also be putting them in the screen so you can see it up close. So it starts with the 3 pictures and then very clearly wanted, barn for sale. And then the square meters that I would need, because of course we're talking about needs. I did put a shelter here, water and electricity for rent or for sale, completely private, so I'm not sharing it with anyone. This is my place. And then Velsen, Haarlem or Heemskerk are cities or villages here in the area or regions. And then I placed here all tips or advices are welcome, literally translated. So please tell me if you know anything. So that is the front, very clear, showing some horses. So if people get this at their home, that they know immediately what this is about. Then it is a whole book. So at the first page, I start, let me just fold it. I start with introducing myself. So my name is Zoe Idema. With my company, Happy Horsemanship, I offer online courses to horse owners. I've given lessons on riding schools for years, and I dream of owning my own pony club to also offer horse coaching or equine assisted coaching. I'm just literally translated, so I hope it makes sense. Unfortunately, that's not possible at the place where I currently have my horse, which is also a private place in Heemskerk. And that is why I'm looking for a place where I can achieve my dreams and goals. So that is the first part. So just introducing myself. And it goes without saying that I would advise you to do that too. Start with a nice cover and then introduce yourself. Pretty short, because of course that's not the most interesting thing for people, but it's also important because they want to know who they're getting at their place, possibly. Then I worked with very clear heads or titles. How would that work? For a set amount of money every month, I would like to rent a piece of land. Depending on the size of the land, I'm looking for 4 to 6 borders. Everything around the contact, the hay delivery, contact with the borders, the hay deliveries, the manure disposal, and maintenance of the place and investments in the place are all for me. And because I want to do this as a business, I want to have a contract with the place and pay with invoices. The amount of money I'm willing to pay every month depends on the situation and the location and what they offer. Also the ground type and the size, we can talk about that. Then we have some cute pictures of me and Aslan. And then we'll go to the next page. That starts really big with paddock paradise system. I will create a paddock paradise, a place where horses can walk in a herd day and night. I will create paths, tracks, multiple feeding areas, green gardens with herbs for the horses between those tracks. And I'll need a barn to storage hay and closets for the horse owners. I will also need a shelter for the horses or the ability to place or build one. And I will need to place a manure container for the manure disposal. And it will be emptied regularly. So that is very short about what I will be doing with the place. And then the next part is about the pony club and equine assisted coaching. 2 or 3 afternoons every week, I want to organize a small pony club where children and horses will have fun together. There won't be any riding, but we will be doing a lot with and around the horses. In the future, I also want to offer equine assisted coaching to help children improve their self-awareness and confidence and improve their language and math skills. And for my online part of my business, I will regularly be filming at the location, which is also something people want to know that will be done at their location. And then we end with the back. Are you interested, or do you have any questions? Let me know. Is I guess the translation. Even if the location doesn't match all the needs, or the needs, I guess, or won't be available for until later this year, I would still like to know. So call my number or email if you want to know more about my company. This is my website. Or we could just casually meet up and get to know each other. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Zoe and Curly Horse Gelding Aslan. And then this more businessy photo. So that is how I did the flyer. Very simple, but I'm still pretty pleased with what it looks like and what it's telling and what it's searching for. Of course, I didn't get all of these. I got a bigger place, but I didn't get a shelter. I did not get water and electricity. I rented and not bought. I am doing it all by myself. It's a private place for me, and I don't have to share it with other people, as in people that were already there or people who are in charge of me. I'm in charge, and the people who are here with me are the people I picked. And it is in the region that I wanted. So to sum it up, start with a part where you get to know, where people can get to know you, then how you want the contract to be, how you want that contact with that person or probably that farmer to work, what you expect from them, then a little bit of what they can expect from what you're going to do at the location and what you're going to do at the location, and then of course any type of how they can get into contact with you. Then after designing all of that, I did it with Canva, which is an international free website where you can design this. I'm pretty sure that I used a template for this myself. So it is a template that was just for free on Canva, and I used it and placed my own pictures. I did get a photo shoot, not for this specifically, but I did have nice pictures because of that photo shoot. And then of course I think it's important to think about the typography, is I think the word, like what size letter and what type of letter you use. It's not a good idea to use like pink or yellow, of course, because it's hard to read. Best is to just use black and white. To be honest, in this area, most people who would qualify for my question are elderly, like farmers who are like 80 years old and still live at their barn, but don't really do that much with it, so they have that ground just laying there, and who want to just make some very easy extra money every month. So it's important that they can read it well. So that's for the design. I do it at Canva, and I print it at Vistaprint, which is step 4 to print it. I did it at Vistaprint, as I said. That's a Dutch company. I would recommend them. I use them for a lot of things. Not that expensive, very easy, very fast. If you're not from the Netherlands or you don't like Vistaprint, I would recommend you to make sure that you know someone who prints often, who maybe has a small business who prints like flyers or whatever, and that you can ask them which company they like, because when you go online you just get some random company and that might not be the best choice or might not be a good company at all. So make sure you do your research on that. And then while you wait for it to be printed, because of course that does take a few days, sometimes even like a week, I would recommend you to start on some online promoting of your search. So when you're done with designing your flyers, you can just use them and post them on your Facebook or your Instagram, on wherever you are. I'm sorry. Or wherever you are. And make sure that everyone knows. Make sure that everyone shares it. Make sure that everyone who knows anyone. I shared it in like family group apps, because I know that they're all in this area, and some of my like more distant family know a lot of people in this area, and also know a lot of people with maybe land. So yeah, you never know who knows someone who has a farm. In the Netherlands, it's also a big problem right now that farmers don't know if they can continue with farming in the way that they're currently doing it. And I honestly believe that. Like, I'm paying €1,000 without VAT every month to this farmer, which is something he doesn't have to do anything for, and he just gets it. And I just get 5,000 square meters of land. I'm not really sharing much about the price, because of course that's different everywhere. A lot of people would say, oh my god, that's so much. And I'm also sure that a lot of people would say, oh my god, that's so little. That just really depends on where you are. If I would live an hour away from here, I would be able to do it for like 4 times less money. I would be able to pay $250 every month for the same amount of land. But I just live like near Amsterdam, so the land here is more expensive, so it's okay. But you never know who knows something. So put that out there. Put it in your WhatsApp groups. Put that on all the social media accounts that you have. Like, there are a lot of Facebook groups around horses and horse owners. There are a lot of Facebook groups also about cities where you can maybe put something in. Like, try to just think of as many places and things that you can promote this on, because honestly, it is a big search. You're also gonna want to email a lot of places. You can also put your flyers in like grocery stores and everything. Just wanted to put that out there. But for emails, I emailed, and that was the big thing for me. So you might not even need to flyer, but yeah. To be honest, the flyering didn't really do much. But I don't know if that's always the case. Maybe if someone has experience with this as well, let me know if you just got it from emailing as well and on socials, or if your flying really helped. But I do really think that flying was a great idea, but I ended up not getting any response or not even needing it. But honestly, I didn't even use all the flyers. I still have more in my shed here at home. So I could have put more effort in it, but then we already found something. So I found something through email. I was emailing all the big companies that we have in the region here who have a lot of land as well. I also know from a riding school where I used to teach that they rented a place from an energy supplier, which is called Vattenfall in Dutch. And they rented the land from them, and also had a contract for like multiple years. And so I also called and texted and emailed all these bigger companies who have a lot of land. I also emailed all the city councils here in the area, because they usually know where there's land, and also a lot of the land that isn't built on, because of course the Netherlands is built on everywhere with houses. But everywhere there isn't a house on already usually belongs to the city. And I also know from another riding school where I used to, I almost bought that one, but then COVID came and I couldn't finance it because the investors couldn't get everything together. But I know from that riding school that the city council of Amsterdam actually want them there. So it's nice to have the city council with you. That's also much easier on the permits, for example. So yeah, definitely email all the city councils in your area. And then I realized campings also have a lot of space, and it would be a nice cooperation to have like a camping site where the children can come to the horses as well, if it's a big space. So I also emailed a lot of camping sites in the area, and that is where I found my current place, because they do have a small camping on the estate. So yeah, email really works. For step 6, I have spread flyers, but I guess that's obvious. And then from now on, we're gonna, like, these 6 steps were about finding the place. And now these last 4 steps are gonna be about closing the deal. So step 7 is about the expectations of the location. It's really important that you have those straight when you're talking with the people you're gonna rent or even buy it from. Like, what are your expectations from them? It's also important to know for your expectations already, this is not a priority for the people you're gonna rent this place from. They have their own job, they're a farmer or they're whatever. This is not that important for them. Of course, it's a nice side hustle, but that's about it. So do understand that you will not, even if you found a place and they seem okay and everything looks great, you won't have a contract next week. It will probably take months. And that's what happened with me as well. It took me a lot of time, a lot of talking, a lot of pitching my ideas again and again at the next person because everyone wanted to know about it and everyone had to approve. And so it takes a long time before the deal was actually closed. So just to have your expectations a little bit set on that it will take a while. Now, being on the other side of it, it is worth it. But I would have liked to know that even if you're completing with the 6th step of searching your spot, you still have to deal with the rest of those few months of actually closing the deal. And it's important to set the expectations of your people who you're renting from as well. Like, do you expect them to offer their electricity? Does anything need to happen for that? Does there need to be a wire from their place to the actual land? When do you want it to be done? It's really nice to just have that really set. And then the next step, of course, step 8, is the contract. It is important to have everything written down. I let the people that I rent from write up a contract, and then I read it very well and eventually signed. That also takes a lot of time because everything needs to be, there isn't really a set contract for what we're asking for. Not like when you rent a house, that's a set contract. People can just download them and use them and change it a little bit for their location. That's not what we have, so that also takes a little bit of time. And it's just important that both sides are protected with that contract and you're okay with that. So that also takes some time to go back and forth on all the points. But it is nice to have a contract because most people who rent a piece of land somewhere don't. And I think it's really nice to know that I won't be sent out tomorrow. I also know that people are happy with me being there, and I'm happy with them. But that is not the case at a lot of places. When your contract is done, the 9th step is building the place, which also takes a little while, depending on what you're gonna do, of course. If you're just gonna put some poles in, put a wire around it and have a field and put your horses there, that's fine. But of course, I wanted a little bit of a track. Well, to be honest, I really started with just a field, and which was also already a lot of work because I didn't have a lot of help, because the contract, when it finally came through, it was just on a weekday and everyone was just working, and it was a little sudden that it finally was okay. So I was just standing there in the rain by myself, getting all those poles in the ground for days. So make sure you also plan that out. Just having the contract done isn't it. That is not the same day as you're moving your horses, unless you have a fully finished place that you're renting, but usually you don't. So make sure you have that expectation set as well, that it does take some time to finish everything up. And then the last step, the 10th step, is moving your horse there. So this is all the 10 steps that I went through as well to get everything done in the Christmas break of 2023. I decided I wanted to do this. I wanted to go for this. So that is when I started to do all these steps, like post online, get those flyers, spread them out. And May, I moved. So the whole thing cost me 5 months, almost half a year. I wish I was there already like on February, but it was a lot of talking back and forth and getting everything settled and good. And yeah, it was a lot of work, but here we are. So I hope this video will help you set your expectations in a realistic way, understand what comes with this. I hope it inspired you a little bit on how you can make a flyer, and this flyer is also just the perfect setup to just share on social, so you don't have to redo everything again and again. And with these 10 steps, I'm pretty confident that you'll find a dream barn, but it might also take you 5 months. It might take you a year. It might just take you 3 weeks. But I do hope that just like this dream came true for me, and still I'm working very hard for it every day because it's nowhere near done. And well, you've seen it in the 2024 recap video, I'm sure. But I also hope this dream for you comes true as well. And I hope these tips will help with that. So thank you for watching. If you have any more questions on, I plan on sharing more. I also want to share about like my Paddock Paradise design. So if you have any questions about that, or just about like how I did everything, or how I built everything, or whatever, just let them know in the comments. I'm happy to help, and hopefully with that create more beautiful places and more dream barns, not just for us, but of course also for our horses. So yeah, I hope to see you next time. Bye!